Hello and welcome to Tech Deals Game Performance Review Overwatch. We're playing Overwatch today on the Intel i5-2400 based computer. This is an excellent value for the money. I'll talk about that in a minute. 8 gigabytes of system RAM and the NVIDIA GeForce GT 730 1GB graphics card. We're playing today at 1080p Full HD resolution, low detail presets, and 50% render resolution. Fraps is being used for the minimum, maximum, and average game performance numbers that you will see at the end of this video, but Fraps is not being used to record the video you're going to see. Instead, I have an external HD60 Pro hardware capture card on another computer, so there's no performance impact from capturing the video. The numbers in green at the top left corner of the screen are from Msi Afterburner, a free program you can download from MSI.com to allow you to see what your computer is doing in real time, what the performance limitations are, what your memory and CPU are doing, and so on and so forth. Now, I mentioned that this is a great deal for a computer. The i5-2400 is currently 5 years old, and you might not think a 5-year-old computer would be great for playing games such as this, but it really is. It's more graphics card dependent than it is CPU dependent. Now, I've done a video on this and how to get this deal. That will be linked in the description below. Short version, this is a $100 computer. Yes, you can buy this computer on eBay for about $100. Now, there's multiple manufacturers, multiple configurations, HP, Lenovo, Dell, etc. But there will be a link in the video description below to eBay listing all of the i5-2400 computers pre-searched, priced, sorted, lowest to highest. Buy it now. Use that link to go see what they're currently selling for and pick out one that works best for you. Now, the graphics card that's in here doesn't come with it at that price point. This is about a $50 graphics card, the GT 730. There will be a link to Amazon and Newegg where you can buy one of those and insert it into one of these machines. The nice thing about it is your total price is $150. You can't even buy a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One for $150, and yet here we are playing Overwatch at almost 60 frames per second at 1080p. Now, to be sure, our render resolution is set to 50%. What does that mean? It's actually rendering the game internally at 720p, but displaying at 1080p. It is to some extent better than just playing the game at 720p, but it's largely the same performance with maybe slightly crisper detail overall. Considering that it's a 5-year-old computer and an incredibly budget entry-level graphics card, it is pretty good. Now, you can certainly put a better graphics card in if you want to. I'm simply profiling what you get with a $50 graphics card. If you have $100 to spend, an AMD RX 460 or an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 would be the step up from this and would give you much better performance. You could be at 1080p at probably medium to high detail on those cards. However, those cards won't fit in every single one of these inexpensive pre-builts. They'll fit in some of them, but not all of them. This card I've got in here, the GT 730, will basically fit in anything. It's very low power, it's passive, there's no fan on it whatsoever. It's a low profile card, so it'll even fit in the thin, low profile cases, which is really nice. So if you're okay with the performance that you see, if you're okay with the detail that you see, $150, you get a nice quad-core machine, you get Windows, you get gameplay. What more do you want? Now, looking at the numbers in green in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, that first line is the GPU or the GT 730 itself. The 99% means we're using all the compute power of the graphics card. Basically, the GT 730 is the limitation to further performance in this game. That's why I said that if you can get an RX 460 or a GTX 1050, both of which are about $100, then you'll get much better performance. But again, those have limitations. They won't fit into every machine. 75 degrees Celsius, well within normal operating temperatures. Warm, but it's fine, especially considering there's no fan on this card. This is completely passively cooled. This system is totally silent. Now, this second line, memory, that is not your main system RAM. That's the VRAM on the graphics card itself. Now, this card has 1 gigabyte of VRAM. It's enough for the detail settings this card can support. You can buy a 2 gigabyte GT 730. Don't bother, don't waste your money. It doesn't have the compute power to use it. If you're going to get a 2GB card, it needs to be an RX 460 or a GTX 1050. Now, those are 2GB cards, and they have enough performance to use the 2GB of VRAM. The GT 730 does not. The third line, CPU. We have a true quad-core processor in this machine. 4 cores, 4 threads. When we're using all 4 cores, the CPU is at 100%. When the CPU is at 50%, we're using 2 cores. Now, we are going above 50% at times in this game. This game will run fine on an i3, but it runs better on an i5. An i3 is a dual-core machine with hyper-threading, so it has 4 threads, but only 2 cores. It simulates 4 cores. It doesn't really have 4 cores, but it will do it reasonably well, because we're not that far over 50%. However, $100, i5, why bother if you're buying a 5-year-old machine? Just get the i5. The fourth line, system memory, you can see we're using just under 4 GB of system RAM. Most of these older machines do come with 4 GB of RAM. A few come with 2, a few come with 8, most come with 4. It's about $20 to upgrade most of these old machines from 4 to 8 GB, and I highly recommend it. Yes, it says 3.9, yes, in theory, yeah, sure, you can use 4 gigs, but Windows will never let you really use all your RAM. That number right there does not include the swap file. It doesn't include cached memory. The whole system will be smoother. The levels will load faster. Programs will launch quicker. Multitasking will work better if you spend the $20 and upgrade to 8 gigs of RAM. There's no excuse in 2016 to be using 4 gigs of RAM, quite frankly. Finally, the last line is our real-time frame rate. Now, I'll show you the average at the end of this video, but that is showing you the real-time Directx 11 frame rate. As you can see at the moment, we're at 46, 45 frames per second. More than the frame rate, the question is how controllable is this game? When I move the mouse, when I move the keyboard, when I press the fire button, is there any delay between my moving the controls and the character moving? Did I find this battle to be difficult in any way? And the answer is no. It was completely, totally controllable. Our CPU is really, really good. The graphics card is maybe a little underpowered for the CPU, but that's just graphic detail, not controllability, not whether the game plays. This is very smooth. Now, our team wasn't that great. The enemy team was really good, which is why we're going to lose this battle, but that's okay. The point is, you could play this and you could win, and you don't have to spend more on a computer if you don't want to. If you're okay with 1080p and 50% render resolution, or you could possibly do 900p and 75%, or just run it at 720p, that's your choice. Oh no, we died again. It will certainly do the job. We are about to lose here. You see the overtime timer up at the top. It's about to start moving down. Are we going to make it back? I don't think we're... Oh, there it goes. There it goes. And defeat. We lost. Boo. That's okay. It happens. Let's go look at the results, shall we? 52 frames per second average, minimum of 35, max of 75. Looking at the performance over time, it was over 40 frames per second over 90% of the time, and frankly, it was between 45 and 55 frames per second most of the time. Totally, completely playable. I call it fair because I would really like to see the average over 60, especially in online multiplayer games such as this, and there certainly were times where it slowed down, but it never really affected the gameplay. I would play it on this computer if it was my only available choice. It certainly was playable. Like this video if you like it. Don't if you don't. Remember to subscribe to my channel with the big huge red button directly below this video. Questions and comments in the comments box. And as always, check out my video description. Links to Amazon and Newegg for the GT 730. Links to eBay for the i5-2400 based computers. And links to my other YouTube reviews on the computer and on the graphics card. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.